Hey y'all, what's going on? I am doing practicing the self-care tip that we got from our girl Wendy last week and getting some fresh air, y'all. So it's beautiful out today in Kansas City and your girl is getting her self-care outdoor fix. So I hope you're getting yours too, and stay tuned for this week's episode of Gangsta Goodies Kitchen. Hey y'all, welcome back. You are cooking with Shelia in the Gangsta Goodies Kitchen. How y'all doing out there? I hope you're doing wonderful. I know I am. We got our COVID self-care tip last week from Wendy Lynn, and it was simply get some fresh air, y'all. Get out of the house. I know we've been stuck in the house, but get out, go to your backyard, sit on the front porch if you got to, okay? So get that fresh air in. And so today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite soups. It's a bisque. And it has, the bisque has, let me show you the ingredients. The ingredients for today's seafood bisque include bell peppers, shallots, butter, garlic, celery, spices, stewed tomatoes, mussels, shrimp, crawfish tails, and last but not least, heavy cream and my shrimp stock. Now that you know all the ingredients that are in it, let's get started. I've got the pot heated up, and here are my 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to drop those in there so they can start melting and doing their thing. And so, what are you guys cooking? I know, let me tell you, I've tried all kinds of recipes, things I've never cooked before, because I'm home more, which means I'm cooking more. So I'm sure you're probably cooking a little more too. So as that butter melts for us, we're going to be right back with Wendy Lynn's self-care tip for this week. Check it out, y'all.
Hey, what's going on? It's your girl Wendy with Holistic and Well, coming to you for another COVID self-care tip of the week. I want you to put your coffee down, I want you to put your juice down, I want you to put your Monster down, and I want you to have a cup of tea. And you can even do that and let that shit go mug. You know what? I'm not a big fan of prepackaged tea bags, but I really like these Yogi green tea antioxidant tea bags. They've just got a really, really nice blend that just is really good for overall health, but it gets rid of those free radicals, which is what we really need right now as we're trying to keep our immune system boosted and fight off any crud that gets into our system. So that's our tip. You know what? And you can also have a glass of wine every now and then. So take care. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, you got your self-care tip of the week, right? We got that butter melting, and now I'm going to start adding the ingredients for our bisque, okay? First thing we're going to add are shallots, okay? So 1 small shallot, chopped up fine, and we're going to put it in here. Okay. Move this one out of the way. So I'll try to make sure I move the dishes out of the way so you guys can see me and see what I'm doing here. So the butter wasn't quite hot, but the thing about butter is that we got to be careful because we do not want the butter to burn, right? The next thing we're going to add is chopped green bell peppers, okay? And that is about 1/2 of a bell pepper, okay? And then I chopped up just 1 stalk of celery, okay? Can't have a soup without the base having celery in it, right? So then we're going to put that in there, okay? So now what I'm going to do is start adding a little bit of the seasoning. So in this mixture, see that seasoning mixture there, y'all? So in here is a little bit of Old Bay. I love Old Bay, especially in a bisque. Old Bay, I put some fresh thyme in there. I also put a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of African yellow pepper, okay? So we're going to start adding a little bit of that seasoning to our mix here. And as you can imagine, the shallots, the green bell peppers, and the celery are already starting to smell absolutely fabulous. So here we go. Okay. It's starting to do its thing, y'all. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is chopped garlic, okay? So this is about 2-3 cloves of garlic chopped up, and so we're going to add that. Oh my God, y'all. It smells super good. And so I'm going to let you see what that looks like with the onions, the celery, and the green bell peppers and the garlic cooking up so you can see what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, here we have the shallots, the garlic, the celery, and the green bell peppers. See how they look when they're starting to get all cooked up? Okay, y'all, so we've got those are just about ready for us to start adding a few more ingredients. So the next thing I'm going to add, normally I use like a tablespoon of tomato paste, but I didn't have any in the cabinet. But I did have a can of stewed tomatoes. So I'm using about a tablespoon of stewed tomatoes. So we're going to add that. Uh-oh, put that over there. Okay. Oh my goodness. It is smelling wonderful. And I'm going to add a little more seasoning. Because we want that soup to have, that bisque to have some flavor, y'all. Some gangsta kind of flavor, right? And so you may be wondering, what would you add to make this a complete meal? You could add a sandwich, a half of a sandwich, or you could have a salad. Like, I'm going to have a salad with it because I don't need no bread, y'all. This COVID-19, stay at home, got your girl eating all kind of potatoes and bread, stuff I know ain't got no business eating. So I'm going to have my soup with the salad, okay? Okay. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to add broth. Now, I made this broth myself. I took the shells off of the shrimp to make the broth. I added carrots, celery, onions, and bell peppers, water, some seasoning, and came up with my broth. So we're going to start adding the broth in. Okay. We got some broth going here. Let's stir that in there. And next thing we're going to add is our shrimp. I'm sorry. We're going to put, and what I did with the shrimp was, you know, I took the shrimp and I chopped it up in maybe 3 little chunk size, because before we actually eat the soup, I'm going to run the soup through the, before we eat the soup, I'm going to put the soup through the food processor so that it's nice and creamy, okay? So that's why I chopped up the shrimp, so that when I put it in the food processor, I don't have big chunks of it, okay? So we're going to add that shrimp in there, okay? And that shrimp is raw, so it's got to have a chance to cook, okay? Okay. Going to add that in there. The next thing we're going to add is a little bit more seasoning. Again, we want to make sure this bisque is fire, y'all. So then I'm going to add crawfish tails. Now, the crawfish tails are already done, okay? And so I'm going to add, and this is a whole pound of crawfish tails, whereas the shrimp is probably like a half a pound. So we're going to put that in there. There's a little juice from the crawfish tails too, okay? That goes in there as well. So y'all help me come up with the solution to stack those so they look pretty, okay? Here we go. Now, look at that. Okay. So, I am going to add the rest of the shrimp stock. And we're going to let this simmer for a few minutes. Once that shrimp is done, because remember the shrimp was uncooked. So I'm going to put the lid on it, let that shrimp cook. Then I'm going to take it through the food processor. When we come back, I'm just going to add the heavy cream, throw some mussels in there for extra flavor. And for those of us who like mussels, a little something in there for the bisque. And we'll be right back, y'all. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have put the soup through the food processor. And I made it where, because I like a little bit of chunk in mine, not a whole lot, but that's how I food processed it. If I had a plug-in close to me, I would have showed you how I actually do it. But when you do take a hot soup and you are putting it through the food processor, only fill it up halfway and be sure to hold on to the lid very closely, because sometimes that heat may cause the pressure to rise. So just be very careful, okay? If and when you do that. You don't have to do that. I've made it with it. I've made it without it. So it really doesn't matter. It's just up to your preference. So now that we have that in there, I am going to add the heavy cream. Okay, and I'll add the heavy cream, turn the fire down, and let it simmer, stirring occasionally for probably about 15 minutes, okay? And then when we get back, I'm going to sit down and we're going to talk about COVID self-care and how fire this soup is, y'all. We'll be right back. Here is our finished dish, y'all. We've got some shrimp and crawfish bisque. I threw in a few mussels for my liking. And you can throw in scallops, lobster, or whatever you like. Yum, yum. Hey, y'all, we are back, and I'm going to taste the shrimp and crawfish bisque and tell you how fire it is. So give me a second, y'all. Oh my God. I'm going to talk with my mouth full. Absolutely fabulous. Oh my God. Absolutely fabulous, y'all. Y'all gonna have to try this, okay? It's simple. It's easy. It makes for a quick lunch, especially while we're at home. Absolutely divine. Now again, easy to make. You want the recipe? Holler at your girl. I'll gladly give it to you. Peace out. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, all that stuff, or I learned a new word from my little sister, Kiana Sinks. She says, tap in. So I want y'all to tap in, y'all. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day.